So in my lovely slides, we have, I think it's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 different projects. They cover the text variables, just like the fill in the blank Mad Lib. But I think we're going to move on to number variables. Oh, so before we get to number variables exactly, because one of the projects is a personality test, we're going to kind of cover what is a personality test and see what it means, like behind the box of all the questions you answer and how does it exactly work. So how many of us have, I can't even talk properly anymore. So how many of us have, or how many of you guys have actually done a personality test before? Whether that's like the, what is it, the 16 traits, whether that's one of those like BuzzFeed, what like Hogwarts house are you in? or all of those. Okay, so we kind of understand. We've all done personality tests, hopefully before. They're really fun. They tell us a lot about ourselves, even if it may or may not be true. But at the very least, it's a quiz that describes someone's traits, preferences, or tendencies. And then based upon those choices, it categorizes them into different categories. So for example, if you're doing the Hogwarts house, like which house are you in based upon this list of 10 questions. So cool and all, but how does that exactly translate when we're talking about the code? How does it work? Like I see the quiz, I see my result. How do I get from quiz to result, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a very simplified version. So personality tests, they have formal ones. So if you haven't already, you can check out the MBTI quiz, the big 5 personality traits. These are all pretty fun. And the difficulty of formal tests is that these require very serious and validated questions. That means every time they run, they have to do a lot of testing to make sure that these questions are not biased in certain ways, and you can always get a kind of good result across multiple sessions and multiple experiments. But we don't care about whether the questions are good or not. It's just for fun for us. So how does a personality quiz work? So let's break it down. So first, you're going to take a quiz, okay? Within your quiz, you're going to have some variables, and this is for storing the choices and the scores, okay? In some way, you're going to use code to add up or compare these numbers. And then you're going to use conditionals to decide the final outcome. And you're like, okay, what does that mean? I'm still confused. And we're going to break that down even more. So in particular, personality test uses number variables. Why? Because number variables store numbers. These are whole numbers, decimal numbers, negative numbers. Those are all like different numbers that number variables can have. On elementary, number variables are blue. And you see we have the create block, just like we did for the text. There is the variable equals value block, just like we had for the text. But we have some special blocks that only number variables can have. And those are the increment block and the variable, well, increment and decrement. Increment means to increase, so it's to add a certain value. Decrement is to decrease a certain value. And you also have variable equals random number. So you can set a variable to be a random number. So if you want to do a dice, you could do minimum 1, maximum 6, do a random number between 1 and 6, and do fun things with that. So why do we use number variables? Well, we can track scores, we can track lives, we can track counters, we can add randomness and make our choices meaningful. So here's a really quick example of incrementing a number. So when I click on a button, it's going to increment my variable by 1, sweet side in this case. And then I'm going to go to the next page. This is what my code is saying. So before we continue with the actual coding, we have to understand this word conditional. So conditional is a fancy way of saying an if-else statement, or if-then-else. So if a condition is true, then do this. Else, do something different. It's a control structure that's based on Boolean logic, and Boolean is just a really fancy way of saying true or false. So when you say, "Oh, it's a Boolean variable," it means it deals with true and false values. That's all. And conditionals on elementary, we call them actually compare. We don't use if else, we just use compare because you're comparing two texts, two numbers, or two, you know, two texts, two booleans together. Oh, I'm dying here. So, conditionals will tell the computer what to do when something is true and what to do when it's not. So, you'll see for, let's look at a compare number. You have a greater than, equal to, or less than. So, if it's greater than, so we're going to say, like, oh, if a number is greater than something else, then we'll go to the first top node. If a number is equal to, if it's compared with this number, then we'll go to the middle node. And if the variable compared with this number is less than, we'll go to the bottom node. So that's the logic behind it. So a real life example of conditionals is this statement. If it is rainy, then bring an umbrella. Else, bring sunglasses. So the sentence structure is like this. So go ahead. Can you come up with a conditional? I know I can. If you don't eat your broccoli, then you won't watch TV. Else, I don't know, you'll have to clean your bedroom. So we use it all the time, and it's anything that you should be like scared about because it's something that we use all the time. So let's talk about like, okay, cool and all, but how does that translate into like my code, my story? And so you can do something like this. If you have picked up the key, then you can open the treasure chest. Else, you can show a message to the player that says, "You're missing the key." And so if you want to like create escape rooms, this is important. This stuff is important. So really quick, I'm going to go through these slides really quick, but we're going to actually walk through a project together just like we did previously. And it'll be a mini project. So just if this is too much for you, don't worry. I'm just showing you the full code so you can kind of like be like, I see that there's a yellow block here and there's some green blocks here, and oh, we always need an orange block because if we don't, the code won't run. So this is just to briefly take a look. And what do you think this code is saying? When you look at this code, can you translate this code into like words that I can understand or that your students will be able to understand? What is this code saying?
It's a choice path. That's how I would explain it. And I would also do an analogy of video games and how things are done. So if you go here, that's coding. That's what they're doing behind the scenes. And you're making choices, and then it just takes you from one place to the next, like whether you're wrong or you're right.
So we have a button here, enter the lab. If I click on the button, I'm going to compare and I'm going to see what's my condition. Oh, yep, I'm going to check if I'm wearing goggles. If I'm wearing goggles, I go to the next page. If I'm not wearing the goggles, then it says, oops, you need goggles before entering the lab. Okay, so we have a lot of people in the chat that answer correctly. Good job. So here's the next one. See if you can write out what this code is saying. So you see a student with this code completed because, I don't know, loves coding. What do you think this is saying if you had to translate it? Ah, the text is too dark to read. Okay. So text 0 says your team's sweet, friendly, fun, and always full of what? Full of flavor. And text 1 is saying your team's salty, bold, lively, and always a little extra. So let's go through it. So when the page starts, you're going to compare the numbers of the variable sweet side to the variable salty side. So you're going to compare those two values. These are both variables with points. Then, if sweet side is greater than salty side, you're going to fade in the text that says, your team's sweet. And if sweet side is less than salty side, you're going to fade in the message that says, your team salty. So that is a very basic example of the ending of a personality quiz. This one in particular just has two sides. Oh, my compare text is not here, so we're going to pretend that slide didn't exist and move on. So conditionals control what code does. Programs follow logic written by programmers. So that's us. And conditional decides what code runs and when. Without them, the program runs the same time every time. And so we have to really remember that conditionals are not thinking, it's just logic. And this carries over across all computer programs, across even AI. It's not thinking. There's a logic behind everything. So let's play a personality test on Elementary. We can do this one. This one, things I've forgotten. This one uses text variables. I put this in the text variable project. And this one in particular was created by a student in my storytelling coding clubs. And it's just amazing. I don't know how she did it, but because I didn't cover this with her. She just made it. I was like, wow. So let's start. My name is, okay, this anime girl with, what, aqua hair? What's her name? Give me a name for her. Belinda. That's what I see. Belinda. What a beautiful name, Belinda. So Belinda day one. Belinda day one in middle school is like, how do I respond? Do I say, who's Belinda? Or, oh, you're talking to me? Oh, no, this is not the personality test. This is the choose your own adventure. She has a personality test. 1 second. I got the wrong one. It's this one, personality quiz. I'm sorry. Okay, personality test. This one. When you look in the mirror, you think, I'm fine with how I look. I want to change the way I look. Whatever. So let's do 1, 2, or 3 in chat. Okay. Whatever. What do you think other people think of you when they first see you? It doesn't matter. I like the image I give the world. 1, 2. I'm sure they think you. Or 3. They must be immediately charmed. Okay, let's go with 1. What is your ideal pet? 1. I don't want a pet. It'll just die. 2. A cat all the way. 3. I think I'll pick a dog. It seems like we're cat people here. I hate it when people argue with me. 1. 2. People are mad at me. 3. I have to talk to humans. Okay, we're being a bit antisocial. In my free time, 1. Just relax. 2. Watch TV. 3. Read a book. I think we're pretty split. We have some watch TV, so let's go with watch TV. My favorite activity is 1. Anything that gives me a good workout. 2. I don't like physical activity. 3. Ice skating or something calming, but also fun. Ice skating. My ideal friends are 1. I don't have friends. 2. Popular, so I am too. And 3. Funny, not afraid to make a joke. Okay, we have 3. And my family is 1. The worst. 2. Exactly like me, we see eye to eye. Or 3. Unbearable at times, but they're mostly all right. Unbearable, but mostly all right. Okay. When I meet someone, I look for 1. How they treat other people. 2. What everyone else thinks of them. Or 3. Whether or not they should look like someone I would hang out with. Let's go with how they treat other people. And so your results are, you don't care what other people think of you. You also have realistic expectations of how people look. Plus, you are definitely a cat person and you don't like speaking in front of people. You're always caught up in the latest trends. You can have a good time easily. When asked, people would describe you as funny and able to cheer people up. And even though you can get aggravated with your family sometimes, you still unconditionally love them. Finally, don't worry, you're a good person. So what does that look like in terms of the code? This one, like I said, uses text variables. So let's take a look. So in her code, she has each page with 1 variable created, okay? And then that variable has a set value. This is very similar to what we did with the traveler and the wizard. So depending upon what you choose, it would have a set value. And then they would go to the next page. And then she just copies and pastes this entire slide and does the same thing for the next ones. So it's the same thing. The only thing that changes is she'll have a new variable. This one is called page 3. She could have named it like C, like what do they think? If you put underscores, it doesn't matter what the variable name is, as long as it's unique and that the computer can know what they're referring to. And then you see she has different text. So she has have realistic have realistic dot dot dot. I don't know what the entire sentence is. The second one is assume everyone and then think you are whatever. But the coding logic is exactly the same as what we just did, okay? That's what I want to convey to you. So this project, there is, where is it? It's in the, let me go back to my slides. I have a simpler version in the, where's the projects? Here. This personality quiz under text variable projects is a simplified version. It just has 1 variable. So are you more of a dog person or a cat person? And that's it. So it's 2 pages. So are you more of a dog person or a cat person? If you click on cat person, you are calm, curious. You are a calm, curious friend. And if you click on dog person, you are a playful, loyal friend. So this is a very simplified version. But what she did was this exact thing, except she just extended it. Okay? But that's not what we're going to look at right now. Okay, right now we're going to focus on number variables. Okay, so number variables, where are they? Okay, so we're going to go through this hour of code cookie clicker game. How many cookies can you eat? This one is really, really short. And it goes over number variables and conditionals. I'm going to share that with you guys all in the chat, so you have access to that. And we'll go through it together. I'm going to click on start for myself. And can we get breakout rooms if people need help? So we have a breakout room for tech support. Oh, okay, great. Luana's already ahead of all of us. So, as always, if you need any help with anything, go to our tech support room and we'll make sure to get you sorted. The last thing is that, hold on one second. The last thing is that please do not publish right now. So we have found the issue with code disappearing, which is good because we can now fix it and we'll have it fixed hopefully tomorrow. So please don't publish anything at this time while we get that sorted. So are we all ready to start with number variables? Give me a thumbs up if you're good. And if you think I'm going too slow, you can always just go forward or try other projects. No big deal. But hopefully we can all go through this together. Okay, great. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a image to the page. Oh, I think I'm missing the instruction that says it should be a cookie. So add a cookie or something. I forgot to add. It's going to be whatever you're going to click. So if you want to make a, let's be creative. Let's not do a cookie. Let's do, I don't know. What item do we want to click? What's your favorite food? Anybody in chat? Cheeseburger. Cheeseburger. I like cheeseburgers too. I think I spelled cheeseburger wrong. But I put a burger. Okay, we got some burgers. No problem. Okay, this burger looks delicious. I love it. Okay, we're going to add a text. Write the title of your game. So I'm going to write cheeseburger clicker. How many cheeseburgers can you eat? The big cheeseburger. And we're done with our first milestone. Hopefully you guys are all pros and you got through it pretty easily. Okay, so now we need to start the code. We need to go ahead and get our variable, and we need to have our number variable. So number variables are blue. They're in the variable tab. All of our variables are here. So you have red, yellow, blue, all the primary colors. And for variables, I would suggest a minimum third grade level to work on them because they are a more abstract concept. So pre third grade they can, but if you have 30 kids in a class, limited time, all that jazz, might not be the best place to start. So let's go ahead and add a brand new variable. Remember, variables are our containers. They're going to hold our numbers. They're going to hold how many, well, in this case, it's cookies. So unfortunately, I can't be too creative. I have to say cookies. But let's go back to our layout. We have to call it cookies because the instructions say cookies. And we need to go and get our text box. So here we want to count how many cookies, or in this case, our cheeseburger, how many we have. Okay, so how do we put our variable on the front end or on the design side of the page? Well, we have to use our curly brackets or the mustache notation. So we need two of them, two curly brackets on each side. Having the space and not having the space, it doesn't matter. So it just needs to have the curly brackets because that will be what the computer is looking for. So how are we all doing right now? Anybody having issues? Good. Got people just chilling. Okay, let's continue then. By the way, if you're having any problems, feel free to go to the tech room. David is feeling lonely, I think. So. So go ahead and click next milestone if you haven't already, and we'll go to the next instruction. So the next instruction is we have to make the cookie clickable, and we want to increment the number of points, or the number, the variable number, for our variable called cookie. Okay, so cookies. So we need to grab our object. In my case, it's my cheeseburger. I need my click block, so our event that triggers all of our functions, and we need to have our increment variable. Okay, so increment is just the fancy way of saying increase. So increment, we have a little glossary thing. Increment means to increase or add to a number by a fixed amount. So, for example, add 1 to a number. So you'll see that the value here is 0. By default, it's not incrementing, or it's incrementing 0, which means plus 0 and nothing happens. But let's go in order. We'll have the purple circle go to the purple circle. Then we'll have the white triangle go to the white triangle. Okay? And like always, we need to make sure it doesn't say select variable. We need to select something. If it says select variable, that means, well, this code's not going to run because it needs to have a variable. In this case, we only have one variable, which is cookie, so it makes things a little bit easier. And we need to increment by 1. If you wanted to, you could later say every time I click on the cheeseburger, it's going to increment by 5 or increment by 10. If you remember from yesterday when Paige presented about the Choose Your Own Adventure, her students used I believe the increment block to say how many friendship points they would have. So they had a variable called friendship points, and they would increment that friendship points by a certain amount depending upon their choice. Am I not presenting my screen? There may be something I have to do. Okay. What do you see if you don't see my screen? Maybe you have to like swipe if you're on your phone, you're like in the wrong area. You see people. Oh, maybe you have to go to like the view, and then you have like gallery view or like standard view, things like that. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Glad to have you back here. Okay, so we're going to click on preview to see if the code runs. And right now I have 0. As always, use inspect mode. It is your friend. We're going to go into inspect mode to have a better idea. When I click, things are lit up. Okay, my log looks okay. Image 0 has been clicked. Increment variable cookies by 1. If I click again, it triggers it again. Okay, great. So you just use the number variable block and use number variables. So congratulations. 1 variable down, 1 more to go. But before we're done with this project, we do need to add a condition. So I want to add a reward it shouldn't be every 10 clicks. It should say at 10 clicks, not every. So at 10 clicks, when it equals 10, I want to have a reward. I think I said I don't know what the reward is. Instructions are not very clear. But let's go ahead and grab our increment variable and drag it to compare number. So someone asked, is there a way to add a timer? And yes, you could add a timer. You can have a loop countdown, or second.
I was just thinking a way of like changing the objective of the game, like see how many times you can click it in a certain or up like second, just something. Just
Ah,
another like
yeah, let's add that as an extension. So once we finish this, let's see if we can say you have to click everything in order to see the reward under 3 seconds. Otherwise, you go to the fail page. We'll do that. We'll do that after. So let's finish this this conditional first, and then we can do that extra like timer game setup. So I'm going to go ahead and grab cookies. It's my only variable, and I want to compare it with a number. The goal is 10. You can change it to any number in this case. And then, oh, I want to bounce it. That's what it is. So if it equals 10, I want my hamburger, aka my cookie, my hamburger, to bounce. So let's first check this code before we go ahead and do other fun stuff to this project. Okay, so what we can do is we can do the simplest timer is you can do an on-page start. So let's first add a ending page. Oh no. Try again. I'm going to go back to my page 1. And what I'll do is I will put a delay on this on-page start. So I'm going to say like delay it by 10 seconds. And after 10 seconds, then run my code. So then I can say my code is to go to my controls tab, and I can go to a different page. This is probably the easiest way of doing the timer. So let's...
Nicole,
Mhm.
I have a question. I connected the original image all the way to the bouncy thing. I didn't bring out a new instance
a
of
new
the
instance.
cookie, and it worked. It was fine. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not sure if it will fulfill the objective for the tasks, but it's fine. Like it will work.
It's right. It's oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it won't
Correct.
validate the task, but if you were to just code, yeah, that's fine. That works. So you can use the same one and connect it. So if you wanted to do, I'll show everyone so they can see. If you wanted to do like this, that works just fine. It's the same code in terms of the output.
So why wouldn't I just use the first one? Why would I bring out a second instance?
In this case, I think it's because the instruction says to add a new one. That's why. So when I created the instruction, I created one that like I added a new one. Yeah, it makes you bring.
But in terms of coding, and I'm trying to like learn how to do this. My instinct, I guess, this morning is to just connect it to that original image. Is that okay in the future?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. You can do that if you're just coding by yourself. That's fine. Okay. It's just more like to be aware, like the instructions won't validate
right.
if you do that, simply because of the nature of how the instructions are made. Like,
but if I'm writing the instructions in the future,
yes, you can You can
Okay.
do that. So if you say to connect this one with this one, then all of your students will do the same thing as you, because they'll basically copy exactly what you've done. That's what the instructions are about. They'll copy your project, your final project. So let's do a delay that's a little bit shorter than 10 seconds. Let's do 5 seconds. And I'm going to preview. Let's go into inspect mode so we can see better. Oh no, try again. So now you notice when I had put try again, and if I'm going back, my variable is not reset. So that's another thing that you'll have to look out for when you start making your projects bigger, is you'll have to reset your variables sometimes. Like if you have a game over and you want to play the game again, you'll have to tell the computer, well, maybe every time I go on this page, on page start, so let's do on page start, every time I go on this page, I want to set my variable cookie to be 0. So reset my points again. So do you know what block I would need for that if I want to set the value of the variable? Let's take a look. So if I want to reset my score.
Equals value.
Yep. So we'll try variable equals value. So on page start, white triangle to white triangle, cookies, and I'm going to set it to 0. If I preview, you see now it's set to 0 again. So this is good if you have like anything with a score, like a quiz, you want to retry again, or let's say you're having a story where you maybe have different choices, and if you make the wrong choice, you like lose a life or something, you might want to reset those lives, things like that. So does anyone have any questions about the code regarding conditionals and number variables at this time? Okay. If not, then I'll let you guys go to the exploring all the different projects. So that personality test is for number variables, and you can go back and explore the text variable projects if you want. And I don't know what would be best. Would it be best for me to go through a project here? Or would it be best for me to swing around other people's rooms?
If you want to take a room and I'll take a room.
Okay, sounds great. Which one do you want to do? Let's do a vote. Let's see which ones are the popular rooms. Do we want to deal with just number variables?
Sure.
Okay, let's just deal with number variables then.
Is that the shark lady one?
The shark lady one and the this that one. This that personality test. In terms of length of the project, I actually think Shark Lady is longer because it deals with animations. Personality test is a bit shorter. Okay, so we have someone who would like to do the noun adjective one. So anybody have preferences? This is the time to make your preferences known about what project you want before we split into groups with me and Luana going through projects. So you have choices between Shark Lady, this or that personality test, or the text variable ones, which are the fill in the blank, noun adjective, story, the poem generator, which is about using simile and metaphor, very similar to the noun adjective one, or the personality quiz, that's using the text variables.
So maybe we should just do you have a room and I have a room.
Yeah. And then we have tech support. Okay, so let's have how about you take the noun adjective one? And then I'll take the shark lady. Let's do that.
I'm not sure how to add the room.
Or just join a room and then which rooms are open? Let's see. Do we have to close the rooms and then reopen
Tech
them maybe?
support's open, Shark Lady Explorer game is open, and this or that. Those are the only 3 rooms I put up in there.
Okay, it's okay. So if you're interested in the noun adjective, I will or noun adjective go to the this or that room. It's I don't think we can rename them while they're open. You have to close them and then open them again. So it's kind of a pain. So Shark Lady is with me. This or that is with Luana, and you guys can work through it all together. Okay, so I'm gonna join the Shark Lady Explore room, and we'll be back. Let's say I don't even know. Yeah, we'll be back in about 25, 30 minutes, something like that. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the Shark Lady room.
Recording in progress.
Hello, 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 everyone. We're here to do the Shark Lady game, which is based off the Shark Lady picture book. If you haven't read it, go get it. It's great. I'm trying to find the link for it to open it. And I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. So what would be best for everyone? Would you want me to go through the lesson and you guys follow along, or would you like to just work at your own pace and just chat and ask me questions as they come up? And I'll just work on it here as well. AKA, do you want to hear me or not?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, so how about you guys work at your own pace, and I'll be around if you need any help with anything.
Hey, Nicole, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything's going well, except I still have that issue where when I resize something, it disappears within the boundary box. And even though I hit refresh, and then once it refreshes, it comes back, I'm having to do that every single time I
Yeah,
resize an
resize.
object.
Are you using
Yeah.
Safari?
No,
Or
I'm using
you're
Chrome.
you're using
But
Chrome?
but that's not the biggest issue, because even though that's annoying, I understand it. The problem that I'm having right now
Mhm.
is that I'm on the, let's see, I'm on page 2. I've got my up and down buttons, and now I'm moving on to the objects where I'm going to program it, code it to when I click the up button, I want to move this object, so many spaces. The problem is my image, oh, you're in there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so the problem is, but see, you might not see this because you're on a PC. So do you want me to share my screen so you can see what I'm seeing?
So you're on the Mac, is it right?
Right, but when it's telling me to drag image 0 out, image 0 is blank. And when I was doing this,
Ah.
When I was doing this on the project before, I just kind of went with it because I knew what that image was,
Mm.
but then the image actually never showed on my
Okay.
page, even though I knew it was there. And even though
Yeah.
I could click it, you know, like my mouse would change from a mouse to a hand. So I knew something was there and the coding knows that something's there, but visually kids are not going to see it.
Yeah.
So is this something that you want to see from my screen point of view and then record so you can give it to David? Or how do I explain that to him?
Clarify, you're on a Mac or a PC or
I'm on
iPad?
a Mac.
You're on a Mac.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So we actually dug up our MacBook and we're gonna test test it on the MacBook because I think
Okay.
some of the things are funky on Mac since it uses OS X and it doesn't it doesn't like to be friendly with the web.
Right.
So
Okay.
sorry about that.
No, that's okay because I can get past this.
Mhm.
I don't know if logically that is the right word, but like I can get past it with my teacher brain, knowing when the kids are going to use this on an iPad, they're not going to have that issue.
So iPads use a different operating system than Macs do also.
That's what
So
I mean.
yeah,
You've written for iPad, so they're not going to have this same issue. So
they
I
should
should
not.
keep
I will,
going.
yeah, so keep going and I will
Okay.
for sure test everything on my iPad because we have one at least, maybe two. I have to maybe find the other one. So we can
Well, that's
test
the
that
thing.
very easily.
Yeah, I've got one upstairs, so maybe I should just go grab it and
So we will test it tonight for sure. So don't worry about that too much. Want me to
okay,
grab the
no
object
problem.
for you?
No, I can see it. I mean, I can see I know, I'll be okay.
No, it's okay. We'll definitely take a look at that for the Mac. I'm sure it's like some weird setting or something. So oh,
Yeah,
I
but
saw.
see how it's just blank in there?
So yeah, you would have to share your screen, but I think I know what you mean because I know what the issue is. Since it's a Mac issue.
Yeah, but this is what it looks like.
Yeah. There's no
So it's just
it's just
yeah.
empty and you're like, I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
Yeah, no, it's okay. And this is what happens here when I go back to this. Now
Yeah, your
even though I
image
can
is
see
gone.
that she's right
Hmm.
there, she's not here, but she is. See the
Yeah, she
mouse?
is here. Hmm.
There she is right there. It's so bizarre. And it has to do with resizing because it all starts when it resizes. On my other project, on this one, I was running into the same project, so I just left it huge.
Yeah, leave it huge for now.
Yeah, that's what I did. And I thought, okay, I'll just leave it big, and then I didn't have the problem. But as soon as I resize it,
Oh,
see how it
just crops funky.
yeah. And then watch what happens when I drag it bigger. It just keeps cropping lower.
Yeah,
It's really strange. Okay,
Macs are
but
strange. Mm.
but I can get around that. I'm okay.
No, it's
I'm,
okay.
I'm
It'll be fixed at some point. So we'll go through it for sure. Like if not this week, it'll be it'll be next week. No cookie for you.
no
That's what Katie
worries.
says.
No worries. All right, I'm gonna keep working.
No, this
Thank
is
you.
really helpful though because like I said, we don't typically test on Mac as much because our Mac is a dinosaur. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. Thanks.
no, thank you so much. The shark lady is taking you to a game. Did I link the wrong thing? I might have linked the wrong thing.
No,
If you
it takes you to the game, but you're supposed to preview the game first, and then you go to the next milestone. It shows you what it's gonna be like.
That's a great question. How can we have a random number generator that when it gives a number, then sends you to a certain page based on the number? Okay, so let me go ahead and first of all, can you clarify? Can you tell me, so you want a random number generator, it'll give you a random number, and then you want to say, oh, if it's 3, go to page 3. Is that what you want? Okay, so if you roll a 17, then you end up in the range of 15 and 20, and that would bring you to page 4. So we would need a conditional, and we would need a number variable for those. Go ahead and share my screen really quick so you can see how that would look like. So what I did is I have a button. It's gonna roll a random number. You could do it on page start. In my case, I'll just do a button. So when I click on the button, so I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna create a variable called, I don't know, points. I don't think I could call it number because I think that's a, oh yeah, I can't call it number because number, true, false, there's a list of words that the computer will not accept as variable names because they are used in the program. So like number is not available. But let's go ahead and call it points. Oh, can you give me access to what you have, so that's easier. Give me your project. Gimme. I'm gonna go into your project. The Adventure of John Apple. Okay, so John Apple here is gonna roll a dice. And oh, you're already doing really good. So if you roll a 17, you end up in the range of 15, 20, and then you want to go to page 4. So let's go ahead, and we need a conditional. Anything that's branching requires a logic. So compare Boolean, compare number, compare text. Since we're dealing with numbers, we're going to go ahead and compare the number. So let's go ahead and compare after we play the text effect of the number. I'm going to go ahead and grab it and connect it. I'm going to say roll. And we're going to compare it with you roll a 7. I don't think we can do a range though. You can compare it with just another.
Could I compare it to say like greater than, even if we were just to make it like 10, like
Yeah.
greater than 10, less than 10?
Exactly. So you could do 10. So you compare with 10. That you can do. So you do 10. And then if it's greater than, you go through this port. If it's less than, you exit to the other port on the bottom. And if it's equal to 10, you go through the middle. You
And
just
that's all I have to do is just have it linked to the next page.
Yep. Or do whatever
Wow.
effect you want. That's it. So
Awesome. Thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, I was like, actually, we can't have an expression like between 15 to 17. Okay. But you can compare with 10.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, no problem. That's a great question. So someone says it's still loading. Are you still having issues? Are you able to get in? Problems?
Can you explain the difference between moving along the x-axis and setting the position and why we need both? I'm thinking in Scratch, you do like go to, and then there's that X value. And with this, we're having to use move and set position to get the shark to go all the way across and come back. So can you help me understand why
Yes.
both?
I have to review the code for this one. But let's take a look. Okay. So you're talking about the set position block.
Correct. And
So the
and
set
move.
position block, you can think of that as an instantaneous teleportation. It doesn't have the animation.
Okay.
That's what it is. So if you were to use the move block, it would go to that place, but then like the effect of it parallaxing will no
Yeah.
longer be there because it'll animate back to the original starting point and then go wherever. So set position is really for like instantaneous teleportation to a certain location.
So in this shark game, oh, it's on the Y. And on the X. Okay, so on this, we're using both the move and the set position.
Yes, you use both the move and the set position. Let me. If you look at the final, so if you look at the final code, oh my god, I'm gonna die from the shark. You'll see that it's move, and you'll have a set position here.
So movement, I gather, but that set position is at the original starting position then?
You can put it at the original starting position, or you can put it at like whatever position you want. So,
Well, what I mean is, in this particular code, is that what it's functioning as?
let me go into the code. It's gonna set the position to 1260x. 1260x is the very, 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 very right of the page.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then it's going to set it to a random y value, which is set by the number variable. So
Right.
so it's going to just reset it to being off screen at a random y.
Right. So in other words, that set position is where this, even though the y is random, I understand that, but the x, that set position is the x value for the beginning, whenever it's the next level or the next, or the continuation of the game if the
Yes.
swimmer
Yeah, if
is
the swimmer
alive.
is able
So,
to stay alive, then it just
okay, so
goes
that's
back.
what
So
that,
that's why we don't have to have like
okay.
5 sharks. That's it. So
Right, okay. That makes sense to me because I was just trying to understand.
yeah,
It wasn't very clear in here.
the instructions.
Well, just the purpose of the set position. It
Yeah.
makes sense
I'll
because
make
it
a
might,
note of
again,
that. I'll make a note of that because this lesson in particular is one of the older ones where I wasn't as
okay.
proficient in explaining
Sure.
everything. So
Oh,
this is
I
really good.
understand. Okay, great. So that makes sense to me now. It's like that's like your starting position. But it is randomized because of the Y value.
Mm.
So cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I haven't even been checking time. So I think in terms of time, let's see. We are about to head to our break. So I'm going to go ahead and broadcast a message that says we're going to be going on break soon. And pretty much for the next 10 or so minutes, we'll go on break. And then we'll regroup again for if anyone has any questions about the project, if there's any, things that you might want to discuss. And then we'll go into our last variable type afterwards. I think we'll keep up, maybe we'll close out the breakout rooms. Huh? Can't broadcast properly.
Recording in progress.
Hello and welcome back. Hopefully you guys were able to go through and not have too many difficulties. No, we had a Chrome crash. That's very sad. Luana, how was your group?
It was good. They were just working on their own, asking questions if they needed any help with anything. But it went all right.
All right, great. So we're going to take a 10-minute break. So go stretch, go for a walk, we'll regroup again in about 10 minutes and see if anybody else has any questions that may have come up from your walk or anything you want to discuss about life. And then otherwise, we'll go straight into our third and final variable type. And that will basically, well, once we get into third and final variable type and go into logic gates, that will cover the entire like scope of elementary in terms of coding. Then afterwards, it's figuring out fun ways to apply all of these coding concepts into, fun ways, essentially. And of course, like I always tell people, you don't have to do any of any of the variables or the logic in order to get a lot from elementary. So if you're purely just focusing on, I don't know, having students write, that's fine. You can just do that. And all of this today is really just to showcase the depth of the coding that you can do. It's not something that you might need to do, right? So it's just extensions that you can do. But don't feel too stressed if you're ever lost about any of this. After today, tomorrow we're going to go back and talk about subject integration. So 10-minute break, enjoy, and yeah, see you later.
Nicole, can I ask you to troubleshoot something for me?
Yep, I'm here.
If I share my screen with you, can I do that and ask you
Yeah.
to look at something?
Do you have permission? I don't even know.
I could do it in a breakout room. I think so.
If you press the button that lets you, then go for it.
Okay, perfect. Let's see. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just trying to add an animation to this, right? So the whole answer is correct, and I was trying to animate him so that basically when you click, he bounces 3 times. And when I go to preview, if you look, it's just that my green arrow
Oh, it
and
has
the
no color.
right, the arrow is black and the click is like not lined up with the arrow like I had it. But he's working, so my coding's right. It's just this part isn't showing up.
Yeah. Okay, we'll fix that. That's an easy fix.
Okay. I didn't know if you had if it was something I was doing or
No. It's just because it's a SVG image and kind of funky. So
okay. And
yeah.
how come my text isn't going sideways, I guess? Like I was trying to line it up with the arrow.
Can you show me again your
Oh,
text?
sure. Hold on. Sorry. Let me go back and share. Okay. So when I go to preview, see how the click is also straight up and down the word, and yet I had it
Angle
angled.
is weird. Okay, so let me take a look
Yeah.
at
Does
that
that make sense?
angle. Perfect. So make a note of that. David's already basically found out why you can't publish, and
Yes,
so
he told me he's on it. He's
he,
on it. I know. I'm finding all your glitches
it's
today. I
good. We
feel
need
really
you. We need you.
bad.
Like a
This is
full-time
what I
job to
do.
find
I go into programs and I try to see how the kids can break them. So
good.
I'm
That's good because sometimes I'm sick of testing my stuff. No, so it's perfect. What you're doing is perfect. Yeah, David already. I think he's fixed it, so it'll probably be fixed for tomorrow. So we just have to wait
okay.
till everyone's off, and then we'll probably push something
Right.
out afterwards.
Perfect. Okay, and I just wanted to check that I wasn't messing
No.
that wasn't me. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, and I think our supposed break is kind of over, is it? So we'll get started in cracking, I guess. Ouch. Okay. With our next set of variables, our very last one. If you've been with me for the whole day, I applaud you. You have way more motivation than I ever did. So Let's go ahead and get started again. Where are my slides? So what are Booleans? And Boolean is a very scary word. At least to me, it's a bit scary. So some people think that I've been, programming forever, because that's what I do now. And whenever I go in for those virtual field trips in classrooms, I usually do them in December when it's a CS Ed Week / month. I always tell the kids, I'm like, yeah, no, that was not me. I was the one that thought robots were kind of dumb and I wanted nothing to do with them. I was more interested in, I don't know, reading or doing other things than making something go from point A to point B, because I think that's pointless. But that's just me. If you're interested in having me for a virtual field trip, I'd love to join your class though. So that's always available. So what are Booleans though? Booleans are true and false values. They are an on and off, a 0, a 1. They don't have any other value. They can only be true or false. So why 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0? So the bigger picture is Booleans are binary. True, false is the same as 1 0. And at the very core of it, computers only understand ones and zeros. They're tiny little on-off switches. And it's mind-boggling that these little on-off switches, and conditionals basically power our computer. So Booleans are how computers think. And so each 1 and 0 is called a bit. And logic gates, so we'll talk about logic gates a little bit more, but they're basically and or gates. They combine tiny bits to run pretty much everything from your game to your phone. So that's kind of like how it works in the big picture scheme of things. So how do we use Booleans? Well, we use them with the condition. If a Boolean is true, do this. If it's false, do that. So Booleans tell the computer when to run the code. I think I put my Boolean example earlier. But so let's take a look at our Boolean example before. Didn't copy and paste it over. This one. So for this one, our variable has goggles is our Boolean. And if it's true, so if true, then it goes true and false. If has goggles the condition. Okay, so we're going to briefly go through what are logic gates. So logic gates are the decision makers of a computer. They combine true and false conditions to decide what should happen next. So we have 2 logic gates on elementary, just 2. The AND gate and the OR gate. In reality, for computer science, you have many more gates, the XOR, XAND, XNOT. But for our purposes, AND and OR, they're already good enough. So why do we need them? Well, with basic conditionals, if one thing is true, then you do something. But what if you need 2 things to be true, or if one of multiple things to be true? So for our AND gate, we need both conditions to be true. So if condition A is true and condition B is true, then we go forward and it's true. So if you finish puzzle 1 correctly and answer it, and you finish puzzle 2 correctly and answer it, then only when you have both of them correct will puzzle 3 appear. That can be something that you can code. So the OR gate just means only one condition needs to be true. So if condition A is true, and condition B is true, it's this is the wrong graph because it's and. But so ignore that slide. This is wrong. So OR is condition A is true, condition B is true, it's true. if condition A is true, condition B is false, it's still true. And if, let's see if I can edit it directly. Can I edit it directly? Oh, I can. I should have just done that. So let's do that. Let's do that now together. Or, okay, let's do it together. Condition A true, condition B true. What is it? It's true. And if condition A is true, condition A is false, condition B is true, then this is also true. So it's only false if both of them are false. So this is what it should be. Oh, and of course I did it on the wrong one. So I already told you about this example. If puzzles 1 and puzzle 2 are complete, then you go to puzzle 3. But you might say, if the hero finds the map or he gets directions from somebody, you can still go to the castle. So what does that look like? Well, you notice there's a little yellow dot on all of the event blocks. That's the condition port. And for all the condition ports, you can plug in a Boolean. So you can plug in either a single Boolean, or you can plug in the Boolean connected to a logic gate. So this one is the example of, if you complete puzzle 1 and you complete puzzle 2, then this magical door will open. And with this magical door, I don't know, you can click on it and enter a secret page, for example. Okay, so I did not link. I knew I forgot to do something. I was just like, oh, I'm on break, so much fun. And then I didn't link anything. Copy link. So there's 2 examples. They are literally the same code. It's just different texts and different context, but it's literally the same code. The treasure chest and lab safety simulation. Oh. Doo-doo! So let's go ahead and just pick one, and we can just kind of do it together. You can work on the lab safety one on your own, and we'll just explore at this stage. Do you want to go into breakout rooms? Did you like it last time with the breakout rooms? Yes, no, maybe so. Either or, happy face. I'm just chilling. It's late in the day. Okay, so let's just maybe stay together with this one. Okay, so let's just do a vote. Do we want to open a treasure chest, or do we want to do a lab safety simulation? Like I said, they do the same code. So tech support is open if you're working on your own. Luana is spot on with that. All right, so far I have like 2 votes for treasure, a 1 vote for lab. Okay, let's be fancy. We'll do open the treasure chest. Okay, so this one, I do have a writing organizer. I do have a coding cheat sheet. And I do have a peer review and single point rubric. So those are all resources that are available. For the writing organizer, it's really simple. It's just, okay, we need to figure out what's the setting. Are we in a forest, a castle, a desert? Who is our main character? What's our locked object and what's our key? And we throw in a bit of tone in there because why not? Will the story be spooky, silly, mysterious, or magical? So since we are all, I think, greater than, a fifth grade level, we're just going to go forward and dive into our open the treasure chest without filling out this lovely rubric and mood tone descriptive words. But this is available, as well as the coding cheat sheet. So the coding cheat sheet, let me just show you really quick. The coding cheat sheet is just showing you what your code will kind of look like at the end and what it all means. So we'll create a Boolean variable called hasKey. We will click on the key, and we'll set the variable value to be true. So we picked up the key. And then if we've picked up the key, then when we click on the treasure chest, we can, go to the page to explore some more, for example. So I'm going to go ahead and click on start for myself and continue going forward. So the first milestone was just saying, here's all the pre-writing organizer, here's the example game. And milestone 2 is really for getting started with the writing and coding process. So we need to have a title. Let's go ahead and create a bold and creative title for our story game. What's our story game title going to be? Do we have any takers for what we want to name this project? The
shifting sands of the Sahara.
Oh, that's great. The shifting sands of the Sahara. So there's a great question. Is there a way to go backwards in a lesson? I did the poetry activity, want to go back to debug. So yeah, you can go and edit your code at any time. If you want to remember what that particular milestone was about, you can click on view lessons to just see what the lesson progression is to help you with remembering what it was about. So, but you can't like go back and see the step-by-steps. So the shifting sands of the Sahara. I need to now add a button and we'll say play. This is a really ugly green, so we're gonna make it blue and make it a little bit rounder because that's cute. So this part is easy. We're going to just code our user navigation. When we click on the button, we're going to go to a certain page. So our function is go to page and our event is on click. Let's drag our blocks together in order to make them work. Purple circle goes to the purple circle and white triangle goes to the white triangle. And then we're going to click on next. So since we don't have a next page, there's no real reason to preview since if I click, nothing's going to happen. It doesn't exist yet, my next page. So we're going to go ahead and move on with our project. So let's go ahead and make our player instruction. They will just be very boring. You need to find, let's say you discovered a glowing chest in the corner of the cave. It seems like it's locked. Oh no. Let's look for some chests. Do we have a chest? That's not a chest. That's a, there we go. There we have a chest. A locked chest. Oh. I'm supposed to add my character to the page? I did it in the wrong order. Okay, let's add my character. Let's do it in order. Add my character to my page. So who's my character gonna be? A girl, a boy? Let's look for a boy. He looks funny. And then I need to add my treasure chest afterwards. So one common thing that will happen is maybe your students will put the treasure chest on first and then put the boy. So let's just do that. Like they're going to put the treasure chest first because they're not paying attention to the instructions and they're excited about adding a treasure chest. And they're like, oh, well, I'm going to add another chest because it tells me to add a chest. Or they'll add like this character here. So the problem with that is if they just add randomly, their code is going to ask for whatever they added here. So even though I put the treasure chest as the character in my code, it's still going to think that this is a character. So there'll be some confusion. What you'll say is just go through the lesson, and then afterwards, once you're done with the lesson, you can change the nodes. Unfortunately, you won't be able to go back to a previous milestone to like fix it. So that's kind of like one of the downsides of this auto progressive step-by-step. Okay, so we're going to create our Boolean variable. And we're going to name it has key. You can use underscores. It's considered one word. Oh, I didn't add the page, so. Oh, look, I'm adding my variable. It's not validating. It says click on a plus page button. I don't read instructions either. Plus page. Let's go. Add an image to the page. Oh, this is my key. So let's go ahead and find a key. Be a key, a gem, a jewel, whatever you want. Click on the variables tab and create your Boolean variable. So now it's telling me I have to go to page 1. We don't have that instruction here, so I need to put it back. But so if you're on this step, you have to go to page 1. It's glowing, but the instruction here is not very clear. So that will have to be changed. Go to page 1, and then you'll have to add your create Boolean variable. Click on plus new variable to create it. And remember, this Boolean variable will then be my has key. So I like to use has key, has glove, or like puzzle done, because then I can think of it as, is it a yes, no question? Do I have it or do I not? So now when I click on the key, I want to set my has key variable to true to mean that I picked it up. So later on, I can show that I have this key in my story. So I'll go ahead and grab my key, I need to go to my event tab and find my on-click block. And then my variable equals value block, because I want to set the variable to a certain value. So this is now easy for you guys. Purple circle goes to the purple circle. Boop. White triangle goes to the white triangle. Then I'm going to select my variable to be ASCII. By default, ASCII is true, so I don't have to do anything here. And let's go to preview. And if I click, oh, I won't be able to see anything. I have to go to inspect mode. So I already clicked it. I have to restart. So ASCII is false. I click on my key. ASCII is now true. All right, great. So now that we see that ASCII is true, we're almost there. We're basically done, almost. So now I need to, I need to create my success page. So this is the page that I will direct the readers to once they open up the treasure chest. The lock clicks open, and inside you find a scroll that says, too bad. The treasure is gone. Wahahahaha. Not the happiest of endings, but we'll go with it. And that's it for this page. So just connecting it all together, let's see if we can do it. So first we're going to add all the blocks to the page, and then you're going to help me with connecting it. So I need to add all the blocks. And by all the blocks, I mean I need to add this block. I need to add this, the on-click block. I need to add the compare Boolean block. I need to add the go to page block. And I need to add the variable block. So remember, the reason why it's the pirate boy, it's because I'm simulating what a student that didn't read the instructions would do. So it's supposed to be the treasure chest, but because the student had a lot of fun adding images to his page, it is now a pirate boy. So it's going to be, you have to click on the pirate boy in order to go to the success ending page. So we'll just pretend this is a treasure chest. We'll fix it after this is done. So these are all my blocks. How do I connect my blocks together in order to make my code work? I have my purple circle here. It goes to the purple circle here. I have my white triangle. It goes to the white triangle. And then my condition, so I want to branch. Remember, I want to do two different things. Luana made a point. My students discovered when creating their interactive maps that following directions was very important. Yeah, otherwise you'll get situations like this where this is supposed to be a treasure chest, but it's not because, well, you didn't add the treasure chest when you were supposed to. So let's go ahead and connect my yellow node or my yellow circle and fill in the yellow circle. And And let's see. Drag the white triangle labeled true from the compare Boolean. So if it's true, I want to direct them to page 4. So this is my ending page. Put the page number for the ending of your game. 4. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just test this really quick. I go into preview. I'm in inspect mode. Right now, has key is false. If I click, it says image 1 has been clicked, image 1 has been clicked. Nothing happens. That's normal. We haven't coded anything for it to happen. If I click on the key, has key is now true. If I go back and I click, my code is running. Oh, it says it's going to page, what is it? Image 1 has been clicked, go to page. Page 4. Let's see if I do the speech bubble. Let's say if I don't, I need to remind them, you need to find the key. Go ahead and grab my fade. And then grab my speech bubble. Okay, so let's see if our preview works. Key. Why is my, oh, I didn't select the variable. See, I'm like, why is my code not working? Okay, let's go back. Why is my code not working? Why is it not working? Huh. Why is my code not working?
The variable needs to say has key.
Yeah, I need to say if it has the key. Okay. So if I preview now, let's see. Go into inspect mode. Whew, it's a long day for me. Click on the key. Okay, this is working. Okay, that's good. I click on my treasure chest. Yay! It finally works. Hallelujah. So that's the basics of Boolean. What's really fun is that with the Boolean variable, you can make it so that maybe when you go to a certain page, depending upon if you have the key or not, you can have a different dialogue option or a different narration option appear. So for example, like let's say we have has key, right? And you already have the key. You want to change this text so it says something different. So you might want to say something like, oh, on page start. So there's 2 different ways you can do this. There's the first option, which is you'll have, 2 different text objects. Like this one will be like, oh, now you got the key. Maybe you can open the chest. You can have 2 different like narrations that are just layered on top of each other, and you could just fade in whichever one works for the true and the false options. So that's option 1. The other option is you can use a function called set text object equals value. So this will replace whatever's in your text object. So let's just try this out really quick, and then we'll see if there's any questions about anything. Okay, so I need to grab my variable, and it's the same thing. If I have the key, then which text am I changing? I'm changing the narration text. So I want to change the narration text. If I have the key, so have the key, has key is true. If has key is true, so this is what it's saying. If has key is true, like execute all the code following. If has key is false, it doesn't do anything following it. So if has key is true, it continues on page start, text object equals value, and we're going to set this to a new text, which is you found the key. Maybe you can use it to open the treasure chest. So it's normal. Okay, I'm going to go and get my key. Go back. And now it says you found the key. Maybe you can use it to open the treasure chest. So we covered a lot of information, like a lot in one day. And does anyone have any questions at this time about anything that we covered today, which was a lot. Or maybe you want to see how something is done. If So let's say you want to drag the key onto the treasure chest to open it. Yep, you can do that. So you can use the on drag over block. We haven't played around with that. So let's actually do that. And I'm gonna, since I'm finished with this milestone, let's just finish this project. Oh, this is navigation buttons. We're gonna ignore that. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually, oh no, it's saying that I have to finish. So I'm gonna just say I'm done with it. Okay, so then I can delete it. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my chest again for my sanity. And instead of on click, I'm gonna delete this block. I'm gonna use a different event. I'm going to use the on drag over block. So that's also found in events. And I think we've used most blocks together. We haven't used on collision, but we've used on pronounce, we used on text input. We haven't used on drag over yet. So on drag over is a pretty special block. And you would need to put the dragged object and the target object. So which one are you dragging and which one are you targeting? Which object are you targeting? So is the chest the drag object or is it the targeted object?
It's the target, isn't it? And the drag is the key.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to the target. And then I need to go ahead and grab where's my key? Oh, I don't have a key here. I'm going to go ahead and add a key. That's what I'm going to do. So let's copy and paste this key. And I would just grab that. So then if I preview, I can grab my key. What am I missing? Drag. Oh, I'm like, what am I missing? What am I missing, guys?
You don't have any action after on drag over. Like, then what?
Yeah, then what? It's like, yeah, cool. So now what? Okay, so we're going to put it back. All the code is the same. The only thing that changed is the event. Let's preview. Okay, now it's glowing. And you can disable the glow if you want, but the glow is by default. And there you go. Oh, it's because I have the... Let's get rid of this. This is messing around with things. So if I preview, where am I going? Where am I going? On drag over, compare. If it's true, go into our debugger. Is it because I have no else? Do I have to have an else? Maybe this is a bug. Maybe we found a bug, guys. I have to ask David, is this a bug or not? So many times he's like, you just forgot something, but let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna
Nicole, I
take a
think
look
you
at
need to go
this.
to the next page and click on that key because that's the
Ah,
one that has the has key whatever on it.
oh. Okay, you can see that I'm yeah, that would make sense. So if good job, Lua. I'm like, it's not working. It's not working because it's always false. That's why.
Lauren did it first. I was just reading the chat.
Okay, it's because we have the condition. So actually, if we just want to drag the key to the chest, we don't even need this. We could just do this. It's much easier. So there you go. You don't need to compare. You just need to on drag over, then go to page 4. Too complicated. So yeah. We have Ben who wants to know how to, or no, we have someone who wants to know how to enter a text value and for it to be checked. Okay, so this is a great example that we need to, I think, cover, that I meant to cover and forgot about. So let's say you're doing an escape room, you have like all these like puzzle quiz things, questions, and you want them to solve it. So one of the ones I like to do with littles, which is really, really easy, is like, I have a super long paragraph of text. I'm going to hide my clue in here. And then what I do is I just go in and I like, let's have the clue be, I don't know, something with an S. S A D. Do I have an N somewhere? N. There we go. So this is super easy. And I'm going to need to have my text field that says, type your answer here. So we need to create a variable called answer. Okay. Then what? We have a variable called answer. What do we do next? What event do we need? So we have a box. When do we put stuff in the box?
On the text input or the drag over, either one.
On the text input. So this is very, very similar to the Mad Lib. The only thing that's different is that you're just going to check the value of the text. So on text input, okay, what are we checking? What's the text field object? There's only one, it's the input field. So if you tried, for example, you're like, oh, maybe it's this one. Well, you won't be able to connect it, so it's not a text field object. So you have to grab the text field object. So let's connect it because one less thing to do. Now what? Now what do we need? What block do we need? So we have a box, we have our container, we have our variable. How do we store the answer, like whatever they typed in the text, into this
A
variable?
value.
Which one is it?
Variable equals value, right?
Variable
Variable
equals,
value.
so variable equals value, we'll set it to a specific value. So it will set it to like, so
Oh,
if I,
text object.
yeah, you need to use text object. You want to set it to whatever they typed in here. Okay. So now how do I connect it together?
You just drag a triangle to your triangle.
Am I done?
Then you need to change that variable to answer. Select
Yep.
variable to answer.
Am I done? I'm missing a node here. Purple circles should never be empty. They should always be filled in.
Text field to variable equals text object.
All right, great. So this is the example. Does this look kind of familiar to, was it this morning? It seems like so long ago. Okay, so now if we preview, we go into the inspect mode. My answer is, what? Let's say ASND. Okay, so it's updating. That's good. So it's updating to something, but what do we do next in order to say if it's the right answer or not? What do we need? What block do we need? Hint, it's one of the new blocks that we talked about.
The Boolean, if it's true or if it's false.
So whenever we have like yeah, if it's true and if it's false, but this is the compare. So when we want to say an if else statement, if it's, if it's something, then go here, else do something else. So since it's a text variable, which compare block do we have? Compare text. Okay, grab compare text. Okay, so now we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So white triangle goes to the white triangle. And then compare text, we're going to compare the variable. Well, we only have one in this case, so it's easy. Answer to, and this will be the actual answer.
SAND.
Yeah. Answer is sand. And then, well, if it's exactly matching, so if it matches exactly SAND, then, I don't know, you can choose to go to a different page or increment by 1 the point or display a message. Let's just do go to page since that's easiest. And we'll just have this be like a nice background so we can see that we're going here. So then we can go to, is it go to page? It's in controls. Controls is all the functions that have to deal with user navigation or, making them wait or setting something to be draggable. So if you wanted to create like a page where kids can like drag stuff around just because they can, then you can do that. So one of the things that comes to mind is if you want to do those like tier lists with like S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and then have them drag around, then you can do that. So go to page, and I want to go to page 6. I do not believe it is case sensitive, but we can try it out. So I'm here, and if I say my answer is sand in all caps, what will it do? So let's see. Sand. Okay. And if we try understand without caps. Okay, so it is case sensitive. The answer is it needs to be exactly matching. And then of course you can do other things. So you can do else, do something else. So includes is a little bit special. It's like if part of the word is inside, then it'll go here, essentially. Anything else we want to cover? So how are you all feeling? Overwhelmed still? Getting it together? Ah, I forgot. So I was like, I was pretty sure I had an example of the text comparison, and I do. So let me go back to sharing my screen and go to, I believe it's in a schedule, maybe. I have something on a text variable choice board that talks about different ways that you can use text variables. Maybe, where is it? Choice board. Text variable choice board. Here it is. I think it's stories, not, we have to do projects. Okay, I'll update the link. Okay. So for the text variable choice board, we did the ask the reader for the name. This is another example. You can change this is the bad libs. So it's like, I like cats, I like dogs, I like cats, I like dogs, depending on what you click. Oh, so sorry, I'm supposed to go down. So the green ones are all the variable equals text object stuff. So ask the reader to answer a question. So here it is. You can see the full code example. So if you forget, you're like, I'm not really sure how, then here's an example. And I'm going to put that also in the chat if you guys don't have access to the other stuff and you just want to click in to see. Variable equals value block. This is the mad lib, and then how you could reset the variable is you use an empty string if you want to reset it. Add text to variable block. So this one's kind of fun. Which images begin with the letter A? So you could say apple ant. So what you're going to do is every time you click, it's going to create a string. And then when you click check answer, it will compare that string, that piece of text, that variable, AA, that stores AA, the user response, and then you can show if it's incorrect or correct. So let me go back and click on multiple objects. Oh, this is the wrong one. Yeah. So you can do something like, so when you click check answer, you're going to check ABA and compare it to your real answer, which is AA. And remember, this ABA will not be shown to the player. This is like internal code that's running. And this is a similar concept. Like if you want them to click on things in a specific order, then you can use text variables to help with that. And then finally, we didn't cover the calculate block, but basically it's actually a text block that takes in arithmetic expression. So like 3 plus 4, and then it'll spit out the answer, which is 7. So this one is, if you have a penny plus a dime, it will be 11 cents. So like you see, like the actual blocks itself are all ones that we've gone through. It's just different applications of them, and different ways of thinking about them. But yeah, it's a lot to take in. Don't worry too much. Majority of the students will just be happy, you know, adding cats and making them say something. Especially as a first introduction. And a lot of students, they don't really get to even the variables until maybe after a second year of working with elementary. So it all depends on how often they're going to be using it, and kind of like, I think mostly it's also how old they are, because some students are just a little bit too young to really, I think, enjoy all the capabilities that you can do with variables. But so let's see. In terms of time, I do want us to, so I did want us to start thinking today about what kind of projects you would be interested in having your students do. And if possible, I'm going to create a quick form to just kind of gauge what type of projects you'd like. So that way we can support you with like asset creation, or with just in general thinking about what would be the best way to implement it. So let's go ahead and do some breakout rooms if possible. I'm not sure how many people are actually here versus just chilling. So I don't know what would be the best way of doing it. Want to have an idea?
Would grade level bands be best?
Maybe let's try grade level bands. And if there's too many people, if there's more than like 3 people in there or 4, then just we'll split it again. Maybe, is that possible?
I can reassign, I think.
Yeah,
people
then
to
reassign
them.
maybe. Because I think when we have too many, then it's like nobody talks. I don't know. Anybody have any ideas? Any preferences? Chat. You can unmute yourself. So yeah, so the breakout would be just ideas for student projects, mostly. Unless you want to talk about something else, but I think that's the main idea. Okay, so we'll do grade level and see how many people join each breakout, and then if there's too many, we'll just reassign and find something else. Would people be interested in collaborating together to design lessons or not? Or you'd rather just go ahead and design your own? Okay, great. So we'll just keep designing our own. We'll just have some brainstorming of what kind of ideas you guys might want to do. And I think the main key is let's think about what kind of simple project you want your students to do, because that's going to be our first lesson we do together. It will just be a simple 1 to 2 page project. And then after that, you'll do a larger project that will be, whatever you want. Or you can do multiple smaller ones. But the very first one we'll do together, it'll be more like a simple 1 to 2 page, maybe 3 page project. All right, breakout rooms are open. Yeah, just chill. Brain's fried. Let's just talk a little bit.
Recording in progress.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am good. Is it just us?
I guess so. I don't know. I'm gonna look. I figured I'd just join whichever one. I feel like, let's see. There's a lot of people who are just chilling.
Mm,
I know some teachers have this just on in the background because they're working.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, okay, no big deal. I don't even know
No.
how to see the rooms. But I saw you're working on an escape room, is it?
I'll probably do an escape room. I don't really know. I've done like I have an escape room that I use that I made it in Google Forms.
Uh-huh.
Um like so I kind of like escape rooms. Um but yeah, I don't really know. I kind of like the idea of using elementary as um in like a project-based classroom. um like if you don't want to make a typical slides presentation, stand up in front of everybody and present, you can make this and people can go through it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
The tricky bit is it feels like a lot for my students to learn for something if I'm not using it all the time, you know what I mean?
Well, that's
um
why I always for core content, you just
mhm,
replace it as a slide. So instead of Google
yeah,
Slides, you could just use it as a Google Slides. You don't have to do any of the coding at all.
right.
Like just add a background music if you want.
Yeah,
Add
yeah.
pictures and then that's pretty much
Yeah,
it.
it no, it's definitely cool. I'm the kind of person where I really like slides. I really like making them do something interesting. I really like a spreadsheet that works really well. You know what I mean? And getting in there and figuring out how to make all the formulas work. That's something that I enjoy doing, right? I don't like to decorate my classroom. I do like to make fancy documents. Um, um, and as somebody who teaches chemistry, there are a lot of it's not really a thing that a lot of my like so in New York we have regents and non-regents classes, right? Regents, you're going to take a state test and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and people care.
Non-regents, what's that?
And then people care.
Yeah. My regents kids like chemistry well enough. My non-regents kids, um the more indirectly I can teach it, the better. And also coding and learning something like this, even if they're not going to be coders, this is very much a scientific process of iterating and making it work better and more focusing on tests like that. Um, so that's kind of where I see myself using it. So I don't know. That's kind of where my head has been more so than what my project is going to be. As far as assets go, anything atomic structure related, like the nuclear sign, the stereotypical atomic structure thing, all those sorts of assets. Um, the more of that, the better for me personally.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, it's a
we
it's
can
a
do that.
cool it's a cool program. I have enjoyed using it. Um, Yeah.
That's great.
Um,
Yeah, I think that's only, wait, is there anybody else in this room except for us?
I believe you hear my son Henry.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if there is anybody else here. I think
No,
it's
I
just
think
you
it's
and me,
just
pal.
us. I'm gonna go hop into the other room. You can hop into and like meet other people and just chill out and like see what other people are doing.
Yeah,
I think that'd
sounds
be
great.
good.
Thanks. I'm going to K5. 6-8, I guess. See ya.
I really like the idea with
Recording in progress.
the maze, because a lot of, I'm a CS teacher and I do K through 5. So my kindergartners, like at the end of the year, we did Codable and they love solving the little mazes. But I sometimes want it to be a little bit more personalized. So I really like this idea of like maybe the 5th graders or the older kids making those mazes. And I love how it could be voice activated. And then this way they can like, you know, get better with like left and right. So I really like, that's like a project that I definitely want to do with the upper grades. My only concern is like, I mostly do block-based programming with my classes. So this is a very different, it's still coding, but it's a different way of looking at it. So I'm wondering if it might be, I'm wondering if it's going to confuse some of the, you know, 3rd or 4th, because they're more used to the block-based.
I think
But
it's
it has like, it does have like a similar, because it goes left to right. So I'm wondering if I should do it first with, because like my 2nd graders use Scratch Junior. So I'm wondering if I should like sort of like begin with this in 3rd grade, because it does have that similar left to right aspect of it. But yeah, I'm just a little worried that it might confuse them, the different format of coding.
I'm gonna jump in really quick. That's a great question. Ask Paige tomorrow because her kids go through the block-based coding first, code.org, all of that stuff, and then they come. I think they did that first and they used Elementary starting 3rd grade. That was originally when she first started using it. I think it was in 3rd grade, but you can ask her about that specifically.
I know.
I think for some kids it might make more sense. I mean, I think it's like anything, you come at something from all different angles, right? Like there's all different
Right.
ways to teach it. And some kids might see this more like a mind map and it might make more sense to them visually than the blocks that snap in linear order.
Yeah, I think I said this yesterday, but like to me, this makes more sense than blocks. Like blocks like go inside of each other, and then like I get confused, like, well, which one is this doing? But this is like, oh, well, that's
And go,
Recording in progress.
You could have students rewrite a story. I used to do, and I think now that I have this, I think I'm going to bring it back. I used to share different versions of the Three Little Pigs, and we would have so much fun with that. And then
Right.
they would in turn find their own animals, and we talk about environments, and so I think that they could rewrite a story.
Absolutely. And you could,
are there any science teachers on here?
Recording stopped.
Or either
I'm
one
not-
you are a science teacher?
yeah, I'm not a science teacher. I'm history ELA, but my counterpart science teacher popped in. And we were brainstorming different ways where me as the ELA teacher, I can have the kids do the story writing, but she's teaching them content. And
Yeah, I
then,
do science and ELA also.
okay, well, you got it going on, girl.
Okay.
You're
And that's what I
all,
was trying. The reason I wanted to get in this class, I wanted to find something interesting because they really need this. I always say that, we do hands-on things in science, but kids get so bored. And I think this would be great, but it's just
yeah.
me learning and applying it.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'll really be surprised at how quickly your kids will catch on to this.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to know, I have a master's in educational technology, but that was 20 something years ago. It is
Yeah,
not the same
everything has
tech that they're doing
changed.
now. So they catch on a lot faster. Their brains are wired a little bit differently. And I think coding now, especially with these visual blocks, I think coding is a little bit more intuitive
Mhm.
than it was when I was like sitting in front of a Mac 2E, an Apple 2E, going like literally writing out the words and numbers and whatever it was just to make our name scroll up and down the screen. It's a
Yes.
lot different now, you know, this visual stuff. So I think you'll
Mhm.
be
Hello, hello. Do you need help? No? Okay. Yes,
Hi,
maybe? Sorry.
sorry.
David is
Yeah.
away. He's dealing with kids, so.
Oh, it's okay. I understand. So I'm having this issue where every time I try to add something, I'm getting disconnected.
Give me your
I don't-
project really quick. What's the, just share it in the chat really quick.
Yeah. And so I don't know if it's because I just kept working on the project we were playing with this morning. And so I was building it out. I don't have to,
1 second.
sorry, I don't have to publish it, right?
No, don't publish it.
Okay. And all right. And just in the chat.
Yeah, just go ahead, drop it in the chat.
Okay, cool. Chat, hello. All right. And so I can't tell if it was, oh wow, I have my funky avatar on. Haha.
It's cute. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's-
you're, let me look. So what are you trying to do?
Well, I was sort of expanding this, the choose your own adventure. I was just adding the new, as you taught us a new type of variable, I just
went ahead and added it in.
I sort of added it in. I made the next choice or slide or whatever. I was trying to use that sort of iterative growth.
Yep.
Right. Just to continue the storyline I was having fun with it. So, now earlier this morning when I was working, I got, it was working.
Yes.
And so I was able to go through the preview, right? Select my character name, select their role, but now like I can't select the role. It's not allowing me to click. Even though the conditional is right on click.
See? So are you getting disconnected or is the code just not working?
Well, and so then if I go, so right now the code is not working on page 2, but if I was actually actively coding on page 8, and every time I added, I was adding the Booleans, and when I was adding them, every time I added a new block, it was disconnecting me from elementary and putting me back, I was having to reload. And I couldn't tell if it was because of my, because I'm working on a Mac with Chrome, or if there's just too much going on this one thing, or what.
Can you go in and just try right now? It might just be because I'm not seeing.
You want me to try to add?
Yeah, try to add on your end right now.
Okay. Control. Of course, it's not going to do it while you're here.
I think it was
Network or something.
yeah, it could be a network thing.
Okay. Well. Yeah, now it's not doing it.
No.
Okay.
This was when, like, when I was running through the code, and you were having
No,
this
no,
issue.
it just started like we were in the so it was a breakout room. We went in breakout rooms. It started having that problem, and then I came in here to see if I could get help with it because I didn't.
I think just keep an eye out on it, and then if it keeps happening, just ping me right away so I can take a look to see what could be the issue. Sometimes it's network, sometimes it's like lost packets or some weird thing.
Okay.
And if you can like report that as soon as it happens, then that will
Yeah.
like kind of like help us try to figure out how we can maybe optimize it better so it happens less often.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, and I know there was something going on with someone else on the Mac earlier, so
yeah, Macs are being really problematic for us right now. So
yeah, and I like I could switch to a PC if that makes it easier, but I'm currently on a Mac, so
it's okay. Don't worry about it too much. Yeah, just take what you can get, and yeah, don't worry. Just chill, have fun, relax. Seems like you're having fun with all your variables. So
I was playing. I was having too much fun with a story, because yeah, so
sounds
that
great.
was kind of the point, right?
It's the point. It's you're supposed to have fun. Like this is not supposed to be a stressful thing. It's summer vacation. I mean, come on.
Right.
You guys are already working, being here.
Yeah, exactly. And but that was the whole point is to yeah. So I had fun with this in the morning, so I just kept going.
Great.
So anyway, thank you.
Problem.
Let's
I'm
see.
gonna go ahead and join another room.
The other breakout room.
I feel like there's too many people, but I don't know how to. I don't understand how breakout rooms work really. So I'm like, okay.
No, and the funny thing is, like I've done breakout rooms, you know, and you can set and say break up into rooms with 3 people, but then you can have like 2 people who are just like watching.
Well, there's a lot of people who are just watching. That's why we don't do the random, because there's a lot of people that have it in the background.
Yeah.
So that's why we didn't set the break everyone up and says like just join. But I feel like there's too many people in the just join right now. So I'm like, okay, well, it's all good. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, especially if we keep just playing, right?
Yeah, just play in the background. Whatever.
Okay. I'm going to go join the breakout room. Thank you.
No problem. I'm sorry about the issues though, but please let us know right away so we can try to fix it.
Don't worry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You must have been one of my good ones.
Right.
That's what I usually do.
Yeah, that's a good save.
Because I don't want them to feel bad, but I also want them to know I'm telling the truth.
Of course. Hey Nicole, are we ready to rejoin?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Awesome.
I believe so. Because I do have a segment I want to cover. It's not coding this time, but I did have something.
You're doing a great job. All right, so we just hit leave room and we go back to the big room.
I think Luana can.
Yeah, just hit leave room. It'll take you back to the main room.
All right, awesome. See you guys there.
Can you just end the breakouts? I think that's easier for me. Maybe I can end it. Close all rooms. Anyway, tech support David is on baby duty right now, so he is not available. Hey. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I think I lost my mouse. Where is it? Here it is. So we are basically done coding for today in terms of all the code. We've covered all of the variables, we covered conditionals, we covered a little bit of and or gates just to show you that they exist. And I want us to just discuss a little bit about student choice and kind of reflect a bit about like the panels that we've had and just some of your own ponderings that you might have had in the shower about your kids or about the world or whatever. So really love to hear all of your perspectives. So yeah, there's a really quick feedback to search filters by project and lesson. So you can search by key terms. So yeah, now we actually have a kind of more projects or more lessons. So we'll be adding the search and having more filters coming soon. So that's our next big thing is how do we filter? How do we see other classmates' stories easier so that we can comment on each other's stories within our classroom and building a better classroom environment. So that's one of our big focuses that we're going to be doing in development next. A great point. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my slideshow that has some stuff on it. Okay, so I think we all kind of agree. I'm preaching to the choir. Why student choice matters? Well, obviously it boosts ownership, motivation, relevance. What was pretty interesting is there's a lot of research that goes into how too much choice, though, can be a bit of an overload, and the right amount is engagement. And one of my favorite articles, reports. It's a piece of research that compiles information and basically talks about choice in the content, process, and product. So when we talk about student choice, I'm like, what is that? What does that even mean? It's like saying reimagine education. Like, what does that mean in reality? What's the definition of it? And I thought this was a pretty good definition overall. So student choice can be broken down into 3 main segments. It can be what to learn, so like content. You can choose to research, this person in history or this person in history or person C in history within the scope of, 1920s or something, whatever you're studying. It could be how to learn it. So that's the process. It could be, maybe I want to work solo, or maybe I want to work in a group, and I want to experiment with different steps. And then finally, it's how to show it. So that could be your format of, I want to do it as a game or interactive comic or visual novel, or I want to do a presentation, or I want to do a role play, whatever. So it's not anything goes, because if you just say, okay, you choose, then it's just going to be chaos in your classroom and they're going to be engaged. They're going to have lots of fun, but whether or not core content learning is happening can be quite questionable. And we need to have that core content learning happen so that we have that foundation for the critical thinking, for the creativity, because if you don't have those points, how can you connect them? Okay, so choice overload, too much of a good thing. And this is really, really impactful for students who face already increased cognitive load, decision fatigue, and reduced engagement. So if you give them a choice board that has 12 panels, and if it's just go at it, it might work really, really well for certain kids. But for certain kids, it could be even worse than giving them something that's just do this now. Because students who really struggle with executive functioning really need that step-by-step guidance. And overall, I think as a teacher, if you give that explicit step-by-step guidance, you're probably going to see something better than if you're just going to throw them into the deep end of go at it. So there's a couple of practical tips for managing choice. And I actually had to go back through my lessons to revise some of them. I haven't revised all of them, but it's really important that we keep things clear. Everything needs to be very, very explicit about what they need to do now, not what they need to do maybe later or overall in the project, but like what they need to do now. And it's the research says 3 to 5 strong options. So I don't remember exactly what the research was. Let me see if I can find it. It's in the speaker notes. It says that I can't pronounce any of their names, but 3 to 5 choices are ideal. And their exact, procedure was they did a jam testing table with 24 jams, and basically nobody bought jams when there were 24 jams. But when you only have 6 options, people were actually buying jams. And it's the same thing with chocolates, and the same thing for optional essay assignments. And they did those tests for those different contexts. So 3 to 5 is the golden point. And we have to tie choices, obviously, to learning goals and start small and give more freedom as students build confidence. Some teachers really find success in allowing more choice after the core is completed. So I always say, like, for a lot of the teachers who've used elementary, they had their students do a lot of their pre-writing, or their writing for like their essential question, or their writing for their draft on pencil and paper, and making sure that that was completed before, or at least, they had enough progress before they actually even went to go into elementary to do any of that stuff. I said breakout rooms, insert stuff here. You already did that. And I already went here. So I don't know. I think I had something related to breakout room times, but we have basically 30 minutes left, and I feel like all of us are a bit brain dead at this point. But if anybody has anything that they want to maybe share out, or just talk about like what was some of the challenges that you faced, and maybe we can try to think about how we can approach that together as a group, that'd be really, really great and really helpful for me especially, but I think for other people as well. And also, on one final note, before you all go, we would really appreciate it if you could share out any parts of this PD during the week, and use the hashtag Infosys. That would really, really help, because that would make the sponsors of this PD happy, and therefore happy with us, and therefore we can potentially run it again for next year. So I'd love to compile a list of projects that elementary can do. I think you need to be more specific about that. Like, and then the hashtag is Pathfinders, I believe. Pathfinders, or no, is it Pathfinders? No, what is the hashtag? I have it at the very beginning. Infi Pathfinders. Oh my God, I'm so bad at this. As you can tell, I'm really big on social media. So Infi Pathfinders. So you don't need any screenshots or anything, but just sharing something would be really, really great and really help us out. Okay, so your science teacher and you can collaborate on what kind of project using elementary. Luana, can you maybe jump in on that? Wasn't it your school that did the water drop project?
Yeah. So our 6th grade middle school teacher, science teacher, she had the kids coding a water droplet story, basically. So the water cycle with the perspective of one water droplet. So they did all kinds of different things, and they ended up in lakes, they ended up in deer urine, they ended up like in all kinds of different places. And the kids really had fun
That's awesome.
creating that one.
Yeah, I think the
So what
objective. Oh, sorry.
But then my question is, was that an interactive story, or was it a game, or was it what kind of elementary project was it?
It was like an animated story.
Yeah, uh it was pretty simplified. It was just mostly it would be like Wilbur the water droplet, and they would have to use all the stages of the water cycle and talk about their journey. And that was the main core. You had some students who didn't do any animation. They just had like a background music, if I remember. And they had just all the slides that were pretty with their little Wilbur water droplet. And some others that, had the water droplet fall to the ground. And they talked about, just the stages of the water cycle because that was their unit.
Okay, so what I'm trying to, sorry, my volume is. Sorry. I have so much feedback. Okay, so I have this big list of all of my things as a language arts teacher that I'm choosing to use with the kids. Like we have one pagers, we have sketch notes, we have Cornell notes, inquiry journal, outlines, summaries, paragraphs, narrative writing, argument, all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, okay, what kind of projects could I turn those into or use as student choice in place of, or not in place of, but you know what I mean? Like have the big giant choice board. Here's what you can choose. So like, how can I make a one pager? How can I code a one pager is where I'm at. And maybe I'm on the wrong track. And that's why I was saying it would be nice if you guys all like share out, how are you using elementary, or how do you envision using it, and like compiling this list that even though I may not be proficient at this, I can go back and say to the kids, hey, if you get coding, here's what this program can do. Go for it. Teach me.
So I think
Or I'm on the wrong path.
No. So overall, you could think of it as first, anything you can do in Google Slides, you can transfer that and do in elementary. So anything that you do in Google Slides, you can transfer and translate that into elementary. You could just add that visual component pretty easily with the library. You don't have to go to the coding section at all almost. We have a lot of core subject teachers that only use the voiceover as a requirement simply because they want that reading fluency practice and basically having students read what they write about science so that they're not writing sentences that don't make sense.
Oh my gosh. So I could do a one pager in Elementari and kids could actually code the little images that they stick inside the little one pager boxes and do narrations
Yes.
of it.
Yes.
Brilliant.
So you can do that for a one pager. You don't have to you can even do a podcast if you wanted to with elementary. Just do full audio. There, you don't need to have text. The choices are really open when you're looking at project ideas. Just take a look at what you have and just voiceovers. I think are the key, especially what grade are you teaching again?
7. Well,
7.
We're 4 through 8, but I teach
Okay.
7 for core.
Okay, so if you're talking about 7, I think voiceovers are still pretty important because kids don't read what they write once they write it.
You're telling me.
Yeah, and so having them record themselves makes it so that when they debug, they hear themselves.
Right.
And then they don't have to have you tell them, did you listen to yourself read what you just wrote?
Exactly.
So
Okay,
that's one way. That's easy. So someone asked really quick, will we create our final projects in the lesson builder, or we create our project as a student might using the lesson builder? So you will be creating in the lesson builder. Okay, so I did a quick preview of the lesson builder, but let me just show you again so you can see. And we will be using my super duper fancy AI auto prompts to help us with making sure that it's all standard aligned, you can pick and choose what type of peer review if you want to add that in, etc. So here's one I was working on. And the lesson builder will auto generate the steps on the right hand side. So for example, if I want to add a text effect to play. All my blocks will auto add. So then as from an instructional teacher standpoint, you just have to think of how are you going to break up your, for example, your one pager. You want to do a one pager. Maybe your minimum project requirement will be, I want you on this page to add 3 images that represent you and then do at least one voiceover. And that might be like your minimum project requirement. Anything more than that, you get extra points. Anything less than that, well, like that's not passing almost. So you create the minimum project requirement essentially, if that makes sense. And someone else asks, is there a rubric for your final project? No, because I'm not grading you. It's for you to use with your students. So I hope that you can make something that you can actually use. This isn't like a, I don't want this to be like a class or anything. Like, I hope you guys can enjoy it a little bit.
Maybe are there rubrics that we can create for our students?
Oh, there will be rubrics. There will be
Okay.
rubrics. There will be tons of rubrics. So, just to give you an overview, I will be talking about AI prompting specifically on, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, I don't remember. And we'll go over like how you can use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT, but it works for any LLM, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, or whatever. And the strategies that you can use in order to get really good outputs. And not just like the standard rubric that gets spit out when you say, give me a rubric of blah, 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 but something that's a little bit more substantial or gives you options and then you can choose which option you want, like a menu, and be like, I kind of like this one. And so we'll go over that. I think it's on Wednesday or Thursday when we go more into the AI side of things. So I personally am not a big fan of Magic School, but that's just me. Since it's not very customized to your, at least for me, it's not customized for my specific needs. So any other things? And we'll talk about, so ChatGPT and all of those LLMs, what's important is how many tokens you're allowed. So tokens are basically the context window, how much like memory that the LLM will have of the conversation. And that's probably like the number one factor of what gives a good response or what doesn't give a good response. If you've ever generated multiple images on any LLM, you'll notice that if you do an image like create an image of, I don't know, some anime character with a cat. If you just do one image, it looks really, really good. But if you want that same girl with the cat in different poses, if you break it up and say like, oh, I want a character sheet of 2 images, all of a sudden the detail is lost for those 2 images. And if you go down even further, if you say, I want a character sheet of 4 characters, if I want a character sheet of 4, then there's even less detail. And that's kind of how it is when you write and you expect a response from ChatGPT or any LLM. If you give a huge project and a huge like thing like create my entire lesson about this or my entire like 10-week unit, it's going to give you something pretty bland. And for the most part, it's going to praise you and say that you're great. And it won't actually be helpful. So I talk so much, Luana. Do you want to bring up anything that might have been forgotten since your school has used Elementari now for a while?
I don't know. Really, my only thing is get into it and play with it yourself. before you go and have your kids hop in there. There's lots of lessons that are already there. Just go through and start, doing lessons and building projects off of those lessons because it'll help you out when you get to the point of the kids are like, I don't understand why this is working. And you're like, I don't know either. So it just gives you a good starting point if you have some experience building yourself before you have the kids build.
Okay, great. So if anybody else has any last questions, if not, we'll just leave early. And I think we're all dead inside. We all need to go do other things. But it was really great having you all, and I'm really, really excited about you all being here. Yeah, it's our first huge PD like this, so it's a learning process for us, and yeah, it's gonna be even better. Well, then have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye byes, and we'll hear from other people instead of me, so it's gonna be good. And thank you so much, Luana. It was really helpful.
You are very welcome. I will
Oh,
see you tomorrow.
so much. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow then. Take care. Bye byes.